Okay, you're welcome back to the talk with Akiwumi. We've got an interesting topic today, and we've got a special guest with us today. Her name is Fikayo. Fikayo, do you want to tell us a little bit about yourself before we start today's topic?
Yeah, sure, definitely. Hi guys, my name is Fikayo, but everybody calls me Fix. I am the host of the Gist With Fikss podcast. I'm also a law student. What else do I do? And basically, yeah, that's me. That's who I am.
So I am that's really nice to hear. It's very nice to hear. So the topic we've got today is a little bit of interesting. It's an interesting discourse because it's been going on for about maybe 2 or 3 weeks now, and honestly, it's a lot. It's a lot to take in. So a couple of weeks ago, I think he's a musician or some public figure in Nigeria. He made a comment about something called Olodo Uprising, and that definitely caused a lot of uproar in social media space. There was a lot of backlash, there was a lot of criticism, there was a lot of support, and it was that. So I'm just gonna read what he said. This Olodo Uprising that we even have right now, it's terrible. I promise you. It's like we're trying so much to accommodate unintelligent people and ignorant people because we don't want them to feel bad. So now they feel like they are the majority. People don't even want to go to school anymore. It's not even just Yahoo culture. Now we have Pella culture. No disrespect to Pella. Go online, do crazy things, get paid, and it's sustainable for a period of time. So there was a lot of criticisms about what he said, and whether it's true or not is left for an individual to discuss that. So that's what we're here to discuss. So Fikayo, what do you think? What's your take on this issue?
Okay, so when this whole thing actually started, I was writing exams, so I did not even know what was actually going on. I just opened Twitter one day and I saw, oh, YC was on Afropolitan and he said so and so. Now the thing is, I wasn't very surprised that there was backlash because I think that the intellectual decline of the Nigerian society has not it did not just start. It has been since about 2024, if not maybe 2020 after COVID and stuff, right? So it was very surprising to see that a lot of people in society haven't actually realized that there's actually an Olodo uprising. And it wasn't also very surprising to see that a lot of people were offended by what YC said. Now, if you look at, there are so many factors that contribute to this whole Olodo uprising thing, and I just strongly believe that it has to do with platforming a lot of stupid people. Now, Pella was so hurt by the fact that YC said Pella culture, even though YC clarified that he has no issues with Pella. And I think Pella
Mm,
feeling personally attacked was enough for us to see that there's so much wrong with people because he wasn't even like personally addressing Pella. I don't know if you get what I'm saying. He was
you
basically
understand?
addressing, like, you used him as an umbrella term, and you had people from different places saying all sorts. It wasn't surprising for me, honestly. It wasn't surprising, but I think it just shows and displays a lot about the current state of the Nigerian society.
Hmm. Because when YC made the comments and then I saw Pella's reaction, it was very, very disturbing because it goes to show you that the way Nigerians value intellectual conversations and all of that, it's gone so low because the comments that Pella was saying, comments that he was doing on the live and all of that, it just goes to show you that priorities are not placed because we're talking about Oludo uprising, and then the next thing Pella says is, "Oh, the amount of money I get or the amount of money I make online." Da, da, da. It just basically made it all about money, and I'm like, that is not the point. Like you're basically buttressing YC's point by doing everything that you're doing. And I, for one, I don't know. I might be weird for this, but there's certain things I do not find entertaining or interesting, and Pella is one of them because I just find it very weird. Like, okay, take for example when Ashu Speed, should we know Ashu Speed?
Yeah.
When he came to Nigeria and all of that, come. If you wanted to have a collaboration with Astro Speed, you could have sent him an email long ago because I think he said he was going to come to like Don Africa tour. Like he said it months ago. If you wanted to do a collaboration with him, It was also fine and good. You could have just like sent an email to his team and all of that, and then collaboration will happen. But then the way he went about it, it was just embarrassing to see. You saw the video, right?
Yeah, yeah, I did. And I think it just
Don't-
circles back to the conversation about, Nigeria. The response of the average Nigerian to anything is to bring in classism and the fact that they've
Mm,
amassed a certain level of wealth. Now, Nigeria seems to be a very lawless country, and the average Nigerian believes that they could get anything as long as they have some form of influence and some form of money. I think Pella displaying his mannerlessness when I Show Speed came to Nigeria just is as a result of Nigerians thinking that when you have some level of clout, some level of influence, some level of money, anybody that comes to the country, like you basically have access to anything and anybody because that is how it is in Nigeria. And so when Speed came, he was like, you know what? Oh wow, one influential person to another influential person is definitely going to give me an audience. Is definitely going to listen to me. And I just think
yeah.
it was a blow to his ego when he saw that that's not how the real world actually works.
Mm. Because it was so bad. Even let's even circle the whole actual speech situation. You saw the interview with what's this guy's name? Egungun or something. I
Yeah.
don't know. That one. That was so bad because if you wanted to interview him, that's all fine and good. Maybe you're nervous, you're all of that. That's understandable. But then you go back to his page, you see the kind of people he interviews. It just shows you that that was not the space he's built for, quote and unquote. Because my man was just stuttering. He did not know what to say, and it was just embarrassing to watch. And it just goes back to show you that a lot of people do not value intellectual conversations. And then what else I was gonna say was you have these intellectual conversations and all of that. You have people like Solomon Pucci, like, shedding light on certain issues. And then you have people in the comment section saying, oh, even like, okay, this, sorry to digress. We had the Oyo State kidnappings the other time, and you had a lot of people coming out to speak against it, all of that. Fine. It's good to speak out against it. But my own issue was that there were other people in the comment section saying, oh, why are you speaking out against it? Nothing's gonna happen. This. And I'm like, why are you bashing people for speaking out? If you're not going to speak out, that's fine. That's on your conscience. Don't try to drag people down that are trying to, fight for a change. Because whether you like it or not, a revolution is going to happen eventually. And why do you want to stand in the way of that? It just shows you that a lot of people, as long as they're not affected by something, as long as they're not affected, they don't want to have anything to do with it. And it's just so sad. It's just so sad to see, genuinely.
Yeah, definitely. Speaking on that, I think I'd like to look at it from two different perspectives, right? The first is the people that actually like say, "Oh, don't talk about it because like, something is definitely wrong with them." And the people that have a
Yeah.
problem with others speaking about it because they've seen that in Nigeria, a lot of activism is just mouth is good mottos, like my parents used to say, right? People just want to speak, but when it's time to actually take action, nobody wants to do anything, right? So I think a lot of
Mhm.
people that tell people to shut up do it as a result of the conversation fatigue that they've gotten over the years, right?
Yeah.
From people constantly talking, 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 and then like when it's time to do something, nobody wants to do anything. So I think that those are the two perspectives that we should analyze it from. People that actually are saying, "Oh, don't talk about it," not because it shouldn't be talked about, but because they have a conversation fatigue, because the conversation happens every time, but nothing is actually done about it. And then that's of the people that they're just telling you to shut up because they are being paid by maybe APC or somebody.
Yeah. And speaking of APC, speaking of people that are talking out against the whole thing, you had the first lady, which is a very interesting dynamic because you're just gonna touch on that quickly. You have the first lady, supposed first lady of the country. First lady being the first lady of the country, you're the mother of everyone. Come. What does she say? She says, oh, she's giving grants to people. It's all about I did. Come. I gave grants to this, I gave grants to this. Oh, start quickly business, start this business, start that business. And it just goes to show you how backwards their thinking is they only think about themselves and how less they think of other people. In the light of that, you now have people making content and skits out of it instead of actually taking actions. Okay, your first lady has said you should do this. It doesn't sit well with you. I don't see the joke in that. I don't see what's so funny about that. I mean, it's funny in the sense that your first lady does not think anything about you. She thinks less of you. That is funny in itself. But you're supposed to take action. Every other country, you have all these technology developments and all of that. What steps are we trying to, you know, take towards all of that? But no, we're out here making skits and comedy videos about this particular situation that should not even be funny in the first instance. Because I genuinely do not, I did not find anything funny about that. I don't. What do you think about that?
Yes, I agree with you that there's nothing actually funny about that. But before I go into the old, like, what my analysis on the skit makers that did all sorts of content and stuff. Now, I think
Hmm.
that Senator Remi Tinubu's response about the old Kuli Kuli thing and saying she donated this, donated that, I think it circles back to my point on the response of the average Nigerian to any form of crisis or anything is to bring money into the situation, even when money isn't exactly the solution to the problem. I
Yeah,
heard her say, oh, she donated money when she heard that there were cases of tuberculosis and some other things. And it just made me wonder that why do you think that you should be appreciated for doing something that you are actually
you're
meant to
supposed to do.
do? It is basically
Hmm.
your responsibility as the first lady. And even if it is not your responsibility constitutionally, I think that considering the fact that the party you and your husband belong to has thrown the country into what it is today, you shouldn't
Hmm.
even be you shouldn't even say things like, oh, there's nothing more I can do, or I've done this, I've done that, and expect an applause because what you have done has in no way yielded any results, right? So our response to the crisis in the country being, I've donated this, I've donated that, and then telling people to start akara and kuli kuli business. Mind you, the people that have done this whole akara and kuli kuli business thing for years still do
Hmm.
not live sensible lives. Not okay, let me not use the word sensible. They do not live substantially. They have
The standard of living is still
exactly
very
standard
low.
of living. They literally still earn below the minimum wage. The minimum wage, which is even the school fees of some primary school students, is what you expect to keep people afloat. And I just find that extremely weird. And what even angered me the most was that the fact that the whole kuli kuli and akara business thing wasn't even like, she didn't mean it in a everybody should do it way. She meant it in a,
Hmm.
it's particularly for females and the youth. And I just find it very disgusting that young people have so many dreams. These people are just starting to live out their lives, starting to build out their careers. And your solution to it is akara and kuli kuli. And for young women, I mean, almost every country, almost every developed country now, the women are doing so much for themselves. But you, as first lady, you do not see past petty trading and all sorts of things that women shouldn't even still be doing in big
Like
2026.
the
Like what?
world has gone so far
Exactly,
that
the world has gone
you
so
don't have
far.
to be doing all of that.
And as the first lady, the first woman in the country, your solution to women not being able to substantially contribute to their families is telling them to go and start selling akara and kuli kuli. For Christ's sake, that is so insensitive. Why can't your own daughter-in-law do such, or your daughter? Your daughter is a model outside the country and she lives in, I think they said, a 4 billion naira apartment in somewhere in New York. That is what your daughter is doing with her life. And then you are here telling other young women in the country to be selling akara and kuli kuli. And I just find it so insensitive and so out of touch. Now to move to the skit
Hmm.
makers that made certain things and the content creators, I think Nigerians have gotten to a point where they've normalized using every form of their misfortune for content. Now
Hmm.
something happened. I'm not sure if it was my school or another school. You know this final year week thing that they do in almost all Nigerian universities.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
there was a costume day type of thing. And a group of boys, the costume they decided to display that day was basically and it wasn't, there's some forms of costumes that you do, and it's basically critiquing the ills of society. Now,
Yeah.
What these boys did was not to critique the ills of society. They made a joke out of the fact that there's insecurity in the country. Now, it was basically a picture of one of the idiots kneeling down like somebody that has been captured by bandits, and his two other
Mm.
stupid friends standing behind him and representing bandits. So his whole costume day thing was basically representing banditry. I'll see if
Mm-hmm.
I can find the image for you on Twitter. And then he now used AI to make a old poster. He now said, "Oh, this is just for comedic purposes or something very stupid." And I just found it very irritating that we've gotten to a point in this country where we've started to use the problems of our society to laugh. And not even in a Drewski way. You know how Drewski critiques society, but like in a funny way.
Yeah.
That's not what we're
Mm-hmm.
even doing. We're basically laughing. And it's so crazy because what we're using to joke is basically the daily realities of some people.
Mm.
Right now, cosplaying being an akara seller and a kuli seller is not only insensitive because of what Senator Remi Tinubu said, but it's also insensitive because you are basically making a mockery of the daily realities of a particular group of people in society. And I
Yeah.
think that's just very stupid, right? Nobody is complaining. No, like nobody came out to say, "Oh, what Senator Remi Tinubu did is wrong." You're basically just mocking the people that actually have to sell akara and kuli every day just to be able to eat, to be able to buy water and certain things. Like, don't you think it would rub them off in a very wrong way? The people whose family members have been kidnapped, the people who lost everything because they had to pay ransom. Don't you think it is very stupid to now make a mockery of the things they are going through, all in the name of, oh, uh Senator Remi Tinubu said this. Let's use this to get views. And then the presidency's account on Twitter also made an AI poster of Senator Remi Tinubu selling akara. They now called it there was something that her husband referred to her as, I think, Iyalakara or something. And I was like,
Yeah.
the
I saw that as
presidency
well.
is also joining you people to make a mockery of the daily lives of citizens, and nobody is seeing anything wrong. They're telling you you are no fun just because you are critiquing it. And I just think that, I don't know, we're really lost as a society, and that's just what I have to say.
Okay. Just touching on that a bit. You have the people like when those people supporting the first lady and the husband as well, the president. Okay. You have people supporting him and saying, "Oh, um, it's a sustainable business, da, da, da," stuff like that. How can you say that when people are struggling to make ends meet? You cannot say that because Nigeria as a country is so backwards compared to like even some African counterparts, some developed countries. You're so backwards. Nigeria as a people, we've got very nice people. Generally, there's no way you go in this world that you not have people to say good things about Nigeria, about Nigerians. The people are awesome, but you see, the country is not well, and then the people living in the country are not making lives any easier for themselves. But then I cannot entirely blame them because you have people like that saying, "Oh, you support what the president's wife said. This is sustainable. Blah 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 blah." It's some sort of I don't know. I can't get behind any reasoning of that. But you can't entirely blame the youth because if someone has entirely bastardized everything you have, schools, healthcare, what else do you have? Basically everything, you basically start to give up on your dreams, and that's probably what they want. That is probably what they're after, making you just give up on your dream. Because growing up, a lot of us had like huge dreams. Oh, I want to be a lawyer. I want to be an engineer. I want to be all of this. I want to be all of that. Those are careers that make you who you are. That give you quote unquote respect in society. Now, now people cannot even make ends meet, not to not even think of, the future. People are thinking about now. And circling back to the Olodo uprising, people just want some form of entertainment to take their mind off the whole situation in the country. Not like it's all right and all of that. But no, they're trying to take their mind off the whole situation in the country. And I really don't know. It's just so sad to see because basically everything has been bastardized, and then people really have no choice but just have to make ends meet somehow somehow. I just don't know.
Yeah,
It's just so weird
yeah.
to see. So weird to see. And then what was I ever gonna say again? Do you have something to say?
Yeah, I wanted to say that, yes, actually true, right? In order to not be overly harsh or unrelatable, I think
Yeah.
we also have to acknowledge the fact that, like you said, this is me acknowledging the fact that, yes, I can't actually blame people for making a joke out of the ills of the Nigerian society, right? Because it has gotten
Yeah.
to a point where there's nothing, people have realized that there's nothing more we can do than make a joke out of the ills of society. And I just think that's just people using these jokes to, maybe, I don't know, lay off steam, because there are so many things to make you unhappy in Nigeria. But I think
Yeah.
because we can all relate to the common factor of economic hardship, I think that is why people now decide to, you know what, let me make a joke out of this thing. It's going to be very relatable for people. And I think that's just what makes the whole joking about the ills of the society a profitable, or do I say a rampant activity in the Nigerian entertainment industry.
Mm-hmm. Because no, because in reality, not everybody can be an activist. Not everybody can be a Omoyele Sowore. Not everybody can be a very dark man. But then I feel like in our own right, you have to, obviously you have to be better for your own self, because you have okay, change, really realistically, change starts from here. Change starts from the bottom to the top. If I feel like if we change as people, like, okay, let's take for example now this man called these VDM people, they do these monthly cleanings, I think at the end of the month. That is a way of empowering themselves and cleaning the society as a whole, because obviously we're the ones that are littering the whole thing, and then we have to clean it ourselves instead of waiting for the government to do it. So basically change has to start from us as individuals, if you get what I mean.
Yes, definitely. I get what you mean.
That's just what I was gonna say. And then yeah, I just, there just has to be a shift somehow, because honestly, we really cannot go on like this. You know, there's so much, there's not a lot of intellectual content out there that that pushes back against the so-called brain rot content. And trust me, there's a lot of brain rot content. There's a lot.
And I also think that, let's not even look at Nigeria alone, right? I think the whole brain rot issue is a worldwide thing. But let me circle
Yeah,
back to Nigeria. Now, over the past, let me say, 3 to 4 years, there has been an educational decline in Nigeria. Okay, let me not even say 3 to 4 years. Let me say over the past 10 years, there has been an
yeah, past
educational
decade, yeah.
decline in Nigeria, from, admission processes into university and also into secondary school. I remember
Mm,
one time a friend of mine and I were discussing, and it was basically us talking about the caliber of people that were getting admitted into the school that we were in at the time.
mm,
And we heard the cutoff that they had for their sets, and we were very surprised, because for our sets, I think it was something higher. And we're just very
yeah.
surprised with how the children were speaking, their inability to understand some things, their inability to read. And it was very disturbing. I was somewhere that was a few months ago, somewhere in Ekiti, and I was talking to a young child. This girl is probably like maybe 5 or 6 years old. And as I
Yeah.
was leaving, I saw this girl shining somebody fuck you with her two fingers. Like the two
Oh.
fuck you fingers on both, like on the different hands, on her right hand and on her left hand. And it was just very disturbing to me that these children are seeing so many things. Like, and it's like education is now being neglected. Right? I found
Mm.
out that jam cutoff to now has been reduced to, I think, 150 or something. And I just find it
Wow,
very, yeah,
400.
like, it's just very crazy. And now, at our time, to enter university, you have to have passed, I think, math or something. And I'm hearing
Mm.
now that mathematics is no longer a requirement to study certain things. And I think English too. I think it's only if you're studying maybe law and a few other things that you need literature, English, and I can't remember the rest. But I think they've said now that maybe English or math, one of the two of them, is no longer a requirement. And I just think that
That's
it just
bad.
shows how much of an educational decline that we're in. I was, as a law student, there's a certain standard you're supposed to be held to. And
Yeah.
sometimes I would see people from other schools, like a friend of mine, we were talking about 100 level kids and stuff. And we're just saying how, from how they speak to their interests to their reading culture and a lot of things, I think it just
Mm.
proves to show that there's truly an educational decline that's added to the whole brain rot movement.
Mm.
And the fact that intellectualism is no longer rewarded. There's currently a discourse on Twitter that I've not really had time to get into, but I think I think an Olympiad thing, right? Where the Nigerian children that qualified weren't able to go because they did not receive
Oh,
funding
okay.
from
I
the
saw that as
government.
well.
And a private citizen had to fund them himself. And recently to another girl who had graduated with a first class, and she's basically the description of academic excellence, could not fund a trip to study abroad. And I think a Nigerian
Mm.
politician later stepped in to I think Bukola Saraki's office stepped in to maybe sponsor her or something. And it just
Okay.
also dates back to when Pella said that it was going to employ people for, I think, a ridiculous amount of money, and he said he was only going to employ people with a master's. And it just made me realize that we've gotten to a point where, because um education and intellectualism is not rewarded, the children have seen that a lot of the very smart people they know, even their parents who were
Mm.
amazing examples of academic excellence, have nothing to show for it. And so they're like, what, this person made it without actually going to school. And it is in every field. There are footballers that did not finish school, there are musicians that did not finish school, there are content creators that did not finish school. And this is basically what these children are using as a motivation. Now, I'm not saying that it is impossible to be intelligent without
Love school.
education. Like, it's very possible to be very smart and, like, you did
Mm.
not face the four walls of a classroom. It's very possible. But I
Possible.
do think that we've gotten to a point where there are too many examples showing that you do not need education at all, not even education at the very basic and primary level. And because
Mm.
these young people have seen it, they're like, you know what, there's no point. And then we've got to a point where, because of the hunger in the country, people can now pay for their jams to be written, for, university exams to be written, their parents. There's somebody I know, and I don't want this to sound very somehow, right? Because,
Mm.
of course, I don't exactly. I saw a video on TikTok where somebody was saying that we shouldn't use this old Olodo uprising conversation to do moral superiority and all of that, right? And I'm not saying this from I'm morally superior or intellectually superior standpoint, because to somebody
Yeah.
with Einstein's IQ, I'm probably the dumbest person on this planet, right? I probably don't
True.
have sense. So there's this person I went to school with, and I found out recently that this boy is studying law in a particular private university in Nigeria. And I was shocked,
Yeah.
because this person that me I know, um, just in case somebody I went to school with listens to this episode, so that they will not know it's the person I'm talking to. This person that I know had to transfer from a certain class to another class. A certain class,
Mm.
in Nigerian secondary schools now, they believe if you belong
Yeah.
to a certain department, you are smart. This person had to transfer,
Mm-hmm.
almost had to transfer twice, but did not. And this person wasn't even doing well in, I think, maybe, like, the important thing, Sha, that you need to be able to gain admission to study law in a university. And I heard that this
Yeah.
person is studying law, and I was like, this same law that I am studying that keeps giving me issues, that makes me feel like the dumbest person on this planet, is what this boy is studying. And then I discussed it with my mom, and she just said, you need to remember that now in Nigeria, education has a price, and the price is not knowledge, the price is money. Because
Mm-hmm.
people are struggling, people are suffering. Most universities are looking for funding. So once you can provide that funding for them, they don't care. They can look at when Pella said that I think a university gave him admission to study something. And it's basically money now speaks in place of actual knowledge. And I just think that that's one of the reasons why there's an intellectual decline in society. What do you think?
Yeah, that's true. That's true because people do not value education anymore. They feel like, oh, why do I need education when I can have money? I could do something, maybe something quick. I don't know what it is, maybe legal or illegal. I could do something quick and I'll just get money from it. And people will say, oh, the end goal or the whole thing, the whole reason why we're doing education, the whole reason why we're going to school at the end of the day is to get money. That is true in its fact. In its own way, it is true, no doubt about that. But there's certain levels that education will give you. And it was embarrassing to see Pella say, "Oh, education is a scam, and I will prove that to you." And he basically proved that to you. He basically said it. He basically said it, and he went and walked the talk by employing master's degree holders and paying them some ridiculous amount of money. That just goes to show you that education in Nigeria, they bastardized the whole thing already. It doesn't matter whether you're the smartest individual, whether you're the smartest in your secondary school, the smartest or whatever. They don't care. As long as you can pay money to do whatever, as long as you can pay money to maybe get someone to write your jam, get someone to write your WAEC or whatever, or something, all of that, it's so bad because during my time when I was writing all these exams, it was important to me that I had to pass because you never know what opportunity can come up, and I had to pass on my own accord. And then we had people that would buy dubs. They call it dubs, but basically exam malpractice, basically buy dubs, and then to come like maybe 5 minutes before the exams and all of that. In my mind, I'll be thinking, this thing will have a price one day. Like, the consequences might not come now, oh, but there will be a consequences now. There will be a consequence eventually, because it will take away from you, like I don't know, maybe I'll call it the thrill of being under exam conditions and all of that. But it just doesn't make any sense because it's been like that for years. For years, as long as you can pay your way through, pay for exam malpractice materials, pay for someone to write your exams. That's basically they call it machineries, I think. And then you just have a whole lot of, as long as I feel like the system is already designed to be like, as long as you have money, just pay your way through, and you'll be fine. There will be no consequence. So, and that is a very very bad precedent to set for the upcoming generations. And then circling back to the young lady, God bless her soul, you said, but she was throwing the two middle fingers at someone else. There is a consistent overload of information that are not even being filtered for the younger generations. There are certain things that you're supposed to know as you grow older, but everything is just being bombarded into the younger generation, and that is bad. I'm not even talking about Nigeria in general in this sense. I'm talking generally. There's a bombarding of information. You see people, you see younger generation, you see younger ones doing things that they should not be doing. Like, you wonder, at my age, I wasn't doing this. Like, the whole thing is focused on screens, screens, screens. No one is carrying a hardback book to read anymore. No one is going outside to play with sand. I don't know. That's weird to say, but those kind of experiences built the kind of people we are today. I don't know if that's relatable, but that's those kind of experiences. Going out with people, not going out, like playing with people. But now, not everyone just caged in the house with the screen and all of that, and that just shows you that education, entertainment are just going down the drain. Because I was having, this is just random, and by the way, music. You listen to music now, Abby.
Yeah, definitely.
music is Music used to be art, because when I listen to old music, you feel that this person put a lot of effort into it. Back then, if you want to drop an album, you put a lot of effort into it. But these days, just hop on a trending sound, you're good to go. Hop on this, like, there's no thinking, there's no intellectual anything these days, and it's so disturbing to see. It's so bad. It's so bad because some people are like, if you cannot engage, if you cannot if you cannot be funny to me, I don't see the point in engaging in conversation with you. Because was it like 2 days ago or something, some random person I've never spoken to in my life just like messaged me and was like, "Oh, do you want a comedy channel?" In my head, I'm like, "What?" Like, I don't get. And I was like, "What are you on about?" And she was like, "Oh, like, I don't want to speak to you if I cannot be entertained." And I'm like, "I don't know you from anywhere. Why are you looking for cheap entertainment from someone you don't even know?" Like, there's so much decadence with people, and they don't even realize it until like they're in like certain conversations. Because I saw one meme. This is again random, by the way. Saw one meme. It was Pella's face. Why's Pella coming up so much? It was Pella's face in the meme, and then they were like, "Oh, your boyfriend," when the conversation is about, saying intellectual stuff, but you're just waiting and looking and waiting for when they can talk about Yansh, and I was like, yo, that is very, that's very, that's very weird because that is a lot of people's reality, and I'm sure you know that as well. That's a lot of people's reality. Like they can't engage in intellectual conversations for a long time. Just wanna, you know, quick rush of dopamine. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying.
Oh yes, I do, definitely. I do.
It's just I don't know. It's just this whole Olodo Uprising, this whole the whole content creation space. It's just filled with if you cannot fit in, like you cannot fit into what people are asking of content creators. If you cannot fit in, just get out. That's basically what it is, and
Exactly. Exactly.
just
In
bad.
relation to, do you want to say something?
No,
Or
you say.
so in relation to like fitting in, I'm going to circle back to music. I'm of the strong belief that one of the major reasons why a lot of stupid music is mainstream is because that is what people prescribe as what the cool thing is. So
Hmm.
everybody wants to play into what the cool thing is. But this cool thing that they're playing into is actually meaninglessness, if that is a word.
Mhm.
So I think that that just contributes to the fact that I think one of the major reasons why a lot of not very smart things are mainstream is because a lot of the people that are looked up to as maybe, oh, I want to be like this person, they actually indulge in very stupid things.
Yeah.
Let me use a particular context. Now, you know how in Nigerian secondary schools now there's always a very stupid hierarchy. I don't know if it was like that in your school. Was it like that?
Wait, what do you mean hierarchy?
Okay,
Like
so there's
cool kids
always
and
the
all of that?
hierarchy of people that are a certain way, like the very social people and the
Oh,
not so social
I think
people.
that was every.
Yeah. So a lot of times in these social people groups, you realize that some of the interests that they have are very stupid things. And a lot of the antisocial people were always very smart. But when some of the antisocial people would allow peer pressure to get to them because they would want to roll with the social people by first, they would start
Hmm.
to dumb down themselves in order to fit in with the social people. And I think that is what is currently going on. I think a lot of we have I was talking to Camila the other day and I was saying that we have a personality crisis in our generation because everybody
Yeah.
wants to be a certain way. Now, I think that because everybody's trying to play into a certain aesthetic, over the years, we started to dumb down ourselves because becoming that person that you want to be like
Mm-hmm.
means that you have to dumb down yourself. I don't know if what I'm saying makes any sense.
Yeah, it does. It does make sense because that's how it is. You'll be like in secondary school, they'll be like, oh, there's they're like cliques or groups, and then you'll be like, they'll be like the really cool kids, and then one time when you go into their conversation or what you listen at what they're saying, you start to wonder what, like you don't understand what you're talking about. Not like you don't understand, but it doesn't make any sense.
Exactly. Now, I'm going to analyze this whole thing from the influencer culture point of view. A few days ago, I was on Twitter when I saw a video, and it was this babe that looks like she clearly bleached her skin.
Mm.
She was faking an accent. You know, when somebody is faking an accent, the issue is that they would start to alternate between a black American accent, a white American accent, a black British accent, and a white British
Mm.
accent. So they never know which one to stick with. I don't know if you've ever encountered what I'm talking about.
Yeah, yeah, I understand that.
Now, there's this old Birkin craze, right? Hermes, the fashion brand, has a bag called the Birkin bag. And the
Mm.
Birkin bag is basically a status symbol, right? Before you can get a Birkin bag today, you have to be invited by Hermes. And then I think they would interview you. And after the interview, if you pass, that's when you're going to be allowed to buy a Birkin bag. So it's not even
Wait,
about
wait,
if you
sorry,
have.
sorry to interrupt. Wait, you have to be interviewed to
Yes,
spend your own money on a bag.
Alex Consani said it now. Alex Consani, I think the model, she was saying that she wanted an immersed Birkin and they had to call her and like they were asking her like if you're in Paris, or like if you're in France, what cafe are you going to? Basically stuff to like be sure that the status symbol thing is going to be there. So
That
basically,
is weird.
Nigerian celebrities, Nigerians don't do a lot of research now. They just believe
Yeah,
that once you're a celebrity and you have money, automatically you have access to a Birkin bag, and any celebrity with a Birkin bag definitely is carrying the original. So that
yeah,
this babe basically, like in Nigeria, you could rent like short let apartments now. They make it
yeah,
look
yeah,
like your house, blah blah blah. So this babe, I don't know where she wants to go and buy her own Birkin, but like I also saw a vendor selling like the old packaged box with the rent
okay,
boxes and dust
yeah,
bags, and she's selling it for 50K. So I'm guessing that this babe went to buy the 50K Hermes Birkin package. She bought like I think two. She now set it up in the shortlet with a camera and everything and a fake accent. And this didn't talk thing that they're doing now.
yeah,
They're talking, "Hi guys." I don't know you that they didn't talk rubbish
yeah,
that they're doing now. She was not talking like that. And she was saying, "Oh, unbox my Birkin with me. I'm now a Birkin mom." And I was like, that Birkin
yeah,
mom
yeah.
care. When did
It
all this
changes,
start?
bro.
And then somebody just brought it to my attention that it's just these babes trying to be like Diana Energy, and that's the person I blame. Now, this same Diana Energy once posted funds with the a slip of Federal Reserve or something. And for you to
Mm,
get access to a Federal Reserve, I think you have to be like somebody in government. So basically,
yeah,
she's portraying embezzlement. She's portraying what's this escort culture, and basically there are people feeding into it, so they feel like, oh, to be Diana Energy, I don't want to talk about anything sensible. I just have to be talking softly, posting Federal Reserve funds, dumbing myself down, and seeming soft. There was one time an influencer lied that she bought a Benz, that the Spirit of God told her that this is the Benz she's supposed to buy, only for us to find out that it was one man she was dating that gave her the Benz, and he got angry because they first and collected the Benz back from her. So just think that it
that,
has to do with
yeah.
a lot of people wanting to play into a certain thing. And to be able to successfully play into that certain thing, you have to be very dumb, like brain dead. That's basically
Mm-hmm.
how I see it, Sha.
So it's circling back to what these celebrity influencers. I feel like they're the cause of a lot of problems. They are the cause of a lot of problems. Okay, let's take it this way. Your lifestyle. I mean, when you blow up, when you're an influencer, when you're a celebrity, your lifestyle is basically going to be mirrored by people, whether you like it or not. That is why in previous episodes, I've always said it. Me, I will live my life how I want to live it. But I would always be careful because you never know who you're influencing. You never know who is looking up to you saying, oh, this person, I want to be like this person. Okay. You don't have these celebrities, these influencers. What you're living lifestyle that most times is not your own. It's not yourself. But you're trying to put yourself up there so that people will not see you as less. I don't know if that makes sense. People, you're trying to put yourself up there when you're clearly not there, so
Exactly.
people will not look at you as less. And then you have people who cannot think on their own, who think, oh, if I wanna blow up, or if I wanna be like this, I have to live my life after this particular celebrity or this particular individual, which drives them into some sort of craze to do something stupid just to blow up, or you just do some stupid things that is not themselves, and just that I don't know. It's just a weird thing, and they always say, oh, clout is a drug. Like it's addictive. Like if you do something now, you blow up. Do something stupid, you blow up. You would want to do more just to maintain that level of, quote unquote, fame. And again, I still blame the celebrities and influencers because at the end of the day, your life is your own life. But then at the end of the day, it's not your own life because people are looking up to you. But I don't know if these men do not realize it. I don't know if they don't realize it. But again, money is not everything. Like, money can make you happy for a period of time. But then it's good to have money. Don't get me wrong. It's good to have money like mad. Like mad. But it's not everything at the end of the day. There's so much to life than money.
Yes, definitely. There's so much to less than money. And I think that because of the reality of the average Nigerian, people can no longer see that there's so much more to life than money, right? Because we've
Mm.
gotten to a point where in Nigeria, every single thing is now about money. Like, how do you protect yourself from getting kidnapped is a money thing.
But
Moving around with convoy, hiring security,
someone
taking
you getting
flights
money.
instead of traveling by road, and things of
Mm.
that sort. How do you secure good education? It's money. How do you save yourself from starvation and famine? Money. So I just think that everything is now like money centered. So people don't see the need to build upon other things. And it's
Mm.
just very wrong, honestly. It's very wrong and scary. Like, I wonder what the Nigerian society is going to be like in the next 5 years.
Exactly. In the next 5 years, in the coming years, basically, you really don't know how it's going to be. Which brings me to probably my next point, which is, a lot of people listening are obviously like, I think 16, basically 16, 17, 18 and above. If you're the age of voting, please and please and please and please get your voter's card, because there's only so much you can do. There's only so much you can do. There's only so much suffering a human being can take before a revolution starts. History has proven that already. There's only so much a person can take you know, before a revolution starts. The revolution can start with you. Just get your voter's card. The window is still open, I think. Should be the window is still open now, Abi.
I'm not, yeah, I think they're doing the last batch. Unfortunately, I can't even get my voter's card because I'm not 18 yet. My birthday isn't going to be until like a few weeks from now. Busy a few days. So by the time I turn 18, I think
Yeah.
voters registration will have closed. So yeah, I
Oh,
can't. But at the same time, I also want us to let go of the idea that a particular candidate is going to be a messiah, right? It's
true.
very possible
True.
to have a good president that is not corrupt. But at state level, we could have corrupt local government chairmen, corrupt senators, corrupt honorables,
Mm.
and other people, corrupt commissioners, ministers, right? So I think while yes, we need to vote for the right people, I think that we also need to let go of the idea of a messiah. And I think once we
Yeah.
do that and realize that it's not just one president that's going to save the country, but the president
Mm-hmm.
collectively working with the citizens is what is actually going to save the country. You know, recently, I think it was yesterday that Peter Obi said that this current government is like doing so much to him that he may not even be alive in 2027.
No,
And I
yeah, I
just
saw
think
that.
that
I saw
that's
that
that's
too.
that's another reason why people should actually know who they're going to vote for. Because we're shouting, get
Yeah.
your PVCs, get your PVCs. Some people are getting their PVCs to vote for the people that are currently causing us problems. So yeah, I think it's also necessary to do a political analysis before now getting your voter's card
For
and just
casting your vote.
doing
Mm.
rubbish. Yeah.
Yeah. And another thing I was going to say, don't sell your votes as well, because 5,000 naira bag of rice or whatever they're going to give you, it's not going to guarantee your security. There's nothing they can give you that's going to guarantee your security. Do your political analysis very well. Do your everything very well, and vote for the right person that you think is going to move the country forward. Not the people currently dragging it back. Because Nigeria is so far back that, you know, if you go back into when Nigeria was still like a top nation, maybe after like some periods post independence, and then you just say, oh, let me throw a wild prediction. You'd have thought Nigeria would have been one of maybe the superpowers of the world, quote unquote. But I'm sure no one could have predicted what was going to go on, what is going on today. So, all I'm saying is bag of rice is not going to guarantee your security. So just do your analysis, vote for someone that you think is going to move the country forward. And we also need to be better people, because change does not start from the very top. It starts from the bottom. From the bottom, we work our way to the top. That's how it has always been. If you're building a pyramid, you're going to start from the bottom. You're obviously not going to start from the top. So start from the bottom. In your school, in your area, even in your workplace, be a better individual. If you see something that's not right, report it. If you're doing something that's not right, stop it immediately. I promise you, a lot of the things that we think are worth it are probably not worth it in the end. Like, embezzling, corruption, and all of that. Or what's the name of this thing? Nepotism. It's not worth it in the end. So that's what I'm gonna say. Do you have any other thing to say?
Well, yeah, I think that people selling their votes shouldn't actually exist anymore. But unfortunately, in Ekiti State, I think last month people sold their votes for I think 20,000 naira, from what I
Yeah, so I saw
heard.
someone on TikTok
Yeah, so
doing
so I just think
doing
that it's very sad that the elections are going to be next year and people are still doing this. And it's just very sad, honestly. But what we have to do is advocate when and where we can, and just
yeah,
hope that people actually realize that it is their future and the future of their generations to come that will be
true.
tarnished. Not because a lot of
Yeah.
these leaders now, a lot of them, they're going to die in like the next 20 years. So even if we
Okay.
curse them today, they'll die in the next 20 years. It is your grandchildren that will be going through anything and everything. So yeah, I think we should just be serious as a country, and the revolution needs
Mm.
to happen.
Yeah, because if you got the platform, please do well to speak out on anything. If you think, oh, I want to do this, but you're scared or maybe the backlash you receive or anything, just do it. Like it doesn't. I think at the end of the day, the backlash doesn't matter. Sometimes it might get to you, but it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, lend your voice towards a particular cause, and you're obviously not going to regret it because at the end of the day, when the revolution comes and then the whole thing starts to get better, you're going to be part of people that are going to enjoy it as well. And even if, God forbid, you're not part of people that enjoy it, your future generations will thank you for lending your voice to a particular cause. So, um, say no to Olodo Uprising, start engaging intellectual conversations, just stop doing brainwashed content. It's not worth it at this point. If
Yeah.
you already have any shots.
Same thing, honestly. Everything you said, supported 100 times. And basically, guys, stay safe. Don't let them eat your brains. The internet is like a zombie. It's after your brains.
Mhm.
Don't let it eat your brains. But yeah,
Yeah.
basically that's all I have to say.
All right. Thank you very much, Fikayo, for joining us on today's. Thank you for hosting this episode with me. Much appreciated. Thank you for lending your voice and opinion. And yeah, hopefully we'll do another episode again.
Yeah,
What do you think?
definitely. Looking forward to it. Definitely.
Yes. So you guys look out for the next episode. The talk with Akiwumi, Gist with Fikayo combination. This is just the beginning. So yeah. So thank you for listening. We'll catch you on the next episode. Bye.